All right, today is August 9th, 2023. Good morning, traders. Thank you for being here. Let's take a look at the SPY. This is the SPY on an hourly chart. We have a downtrend in the hourly time frame right there. There is one other trend line that exists over here, right up there in the middle of that gap up there. So we'll see if we're going to, right now in the pre-market, we're challenging this open gap above the trend line. So we'll see if we're going to get to the other side, possibly come back, check the backside of this, and J-hook off the backside of this downtrend line. And on the daily chart, if you look at yesterday's daily, notice we did put in a lower high and a lower low. So we are moving down. I'm looking forward to seeing, I'm not looking forward to, but I'm seeing a head and shoulders pattern starting to form. I'm looking for the right side of the neck to come down somewhere around 442, 444 area and perform the, make the right side of the neck, and then eventually create the right shoulder on the right side there for the SPY. So SPY in an hourly downtrend, but still daily uptrend above its trend line. Depending upon which trend line you use, I have several. You can see here is a longer term trend line that exists from back in March. And you can see here's the pullback that we're getting right now. Now, on the daily chart, the 3 is underneath the 8, and we are pulling back. We are in a 1 hour downtrend at this time, making lower lows and lower highs. Now we're gapping up in this morning, right up into this area, this 450 area, that still could be a lower high. We'd have to take out this high right here in order to break this this downtrend and make a lower low, a higher low. Once we take out this high right there and make the higher high and a higher low, we will have broken this downtrend on the hourly time frame. But right now we're still in an hourly downtrend. The daily is still up, but the 3 is under the 8 EMA, so we're having a daily pullback to the trend line at this time. Now let's take a look at QQQ. And QQQ on the daily chart, you can see we are forming kind of a head and shoulders pattern here, almost an M pattern if you look at it. And take that off, remove that. Let me get my lines out. You see we have a line up, back, back up, and right now we're in the middle of a battleground here taken out right there. So QQQ forming a kind of a quasi head and shoulders pattern with an M pattern at the apex up here. So we'll see what's going to happen with the QQQ. Hourly downtrend, and we're getting a daily pullback to the trend line. So we have several trend lines for that. And let's see if I can find one for you. There we go. So here's our longer term trend line. And you can see here we are resting back to trend on our way back there. So there's QQQ. Now let's look at FNGU. Here's FNGU. FNGU has formed the head and shoulders pattern. And the neckline would be right about, let's put that in for us, right through there. You can see we trading below the neckline. Neckline is about to break. And we're looking for this to possibly roll over and come down. We'll see what happens. Here you have the head, the right shoulder, and the left shoulder. Here's your neckline. Possible break of the neckline on the FNGU on the daily chart. So we'll see what happens there on the FNGU, breaking the downtrend right there. Let's see if I can find a bigger downtrend, bigger uptrend line. We could have one that exists through right through there. That's going to take a while for us to get over there. So right now, FNGU in the head and shoulders pattern, breaking the neckline right there at 183, actually 186 area. Now let's take a look at diamonds. So here we are in the diamonds. Looks like we're forming the left shoulder. We formed the left shoulder. This is looking like a head pattern. Diamond's not looking as weak as the others. Notice we still have a trend right there, so we could get an hourly pullback or even a rest back to this trend line and still remain in a bullish flag formation. If we take the quad lines in, you can see price action for the diamond still exists in the upper third. That would be this area up here. So you can see price holding that upper third. As long as it stays up there, I'm going to be bullish. Things are looking pretty good for the diamonds, much better than the FNGU, the SPY, and the QQQ. So diamonds looking much healthier than the others. And let's take a look at IWM. So here's IWM, last move up. Pick the quad lines, put those in. And you can see we came down and almost challenged the midpoint and the minor support yesterday. Here's the minor support. It's the top of those candles up there. And you can see we almost came down to the same area up there. Notice the price did come down but climbed back into the upper third up here, closing in the upper third for IWM. So IWM on the daily chart, notice the 3 is under the 8. Price action yesterday, lower low and a lower high. Hourly downtrend, still in a daily uptrend. And if we put a trend line in here, you can see we're probably pulled back to trend right there. So we'll see what happens with that today. So here's a bounce off of the trend line. So here is the bounce at the trend line with confirmation. Now we're just looking for a 30-minute uptrend. That would be the 3 up over the 8 on the 30-minute chart. Just like right here over VWAP. So looking for confirmation today with the same pattern to play this bounce right off the trend line back up to the highs or back up to the midpoint. So if we can go find the midpoint for this, here's the pullback, looking for a bounce back up to this 194.60, 194.50 area, 194.70, right about there. That's what we're looking for on the IWM. Now let's go look at our T2122. T2122 spent about half the day yesterday in the sell zone and jumped out of it, only to come back into the chop zone. And we'll see what happens with that, making higher lows and higher highs here on the T2122. T2123 spent some time with a red trend indicator, and then halfway through the day they turned it around. So now we have a green trend indicator, still getting lower lows and lower highs on the T2123. And if we look at this on the 3-bar chart, we were red for a couple of periods, and now we're back to green. We'll see if they can jump over that trend line and break that, or if it's going to roll over and come back this way. That's T2123. Now let's head over and take a look at the SMH. SMH is in an uptrend channel, testing that channel. It's in a large bull flag. If we look at it, take a look at it here. You got a flagpole up, and then your flagpole, and your box right here. There's your bull flag right there. If we take a look at it with the quad lines, this is the move up. You can see price action still maintaining in the upper third up here. So SMH still bullish, challenging the trend line, and it's quite possible they could go through it and start another uptrend. So here's SMH. SMH is looking very good. XLF, let's take a look at it on the hourly one more time. So on the hourly chart, here's SMH. Not quite performing lower lows. Well, we've got a lower high and a lower low here. So SMH in an hourly downtrend, but still daily it's bullish at this time. Now let's go back and look at XLF. This is the one that could give us trouble. So here's the pullback, and you can see if we take into account this, here's the price action back into the upper third. So here would be the last high, and you can see the price action kind of closing up into the upper third up here. So this is very bullish for the XLF. Daily uptrend. If we put in the trend line, hourly pullback to the trend line, a little bit of a daily pullback. Three is underneath the 8 at this time. Yesterday's candle not too pretty, but green. Lower low and lower high on the XLF. SMH candle for the daily, lower low, lower high as well. So everything kind of challenging the lows and the minor support at this time. Let's take a look at transports. All right, here we are with the transports, and they caught right into this minor support right there, and they bounced off of it. So where's the trend line for this? We have one trend line that goes right through here, and we have another one which looks like it's broken right up through there. So they broke this uptrend. Now they're probably going to pull back to a trend line somewhere around in here. If we take the quad lines, open up from the lows to the highs, you can see they're still bullish, even though they've got this formation that looks like a head and shoulders or almost like a top, but staying in the upper third up here. Still bullish for me. They're not even crawled. They haven't even broken through the 25%. They're still in quadrant 4. So IYT still looking strong, but lower low, lower high on the daily candle, and on the hourly we have an hourly pullback with lower lows and lower highs on the hourly chart. And on the daily candle, you can see they're breaking this trend line. So probably going to find some support, maybe around major support or minor support. We'll see what happens with the IYT. Still bullish at this time. Still maintaining price in the upper third. Now, CJ, good morning, Alan. Good morning, CJ. CJ says a 3-ace book trap bearish. Which one, CJ? SPY on the daily. Yeah, not quite. We don't have a lower high. We've got a. We don't quite have a lower high yet. Okay, on the daily chart. On the hourly, yes. But on the daily chart, we don't quite have a lower high on the SPY and a lower low. We got a low, but it's not a lower low. We still have to beat this low right here. This would be the low to beat. Now, they could come back and produce a lower high over here. I mean, we could count that. It's kind of dicey, though. It's still in the trend. But as soon as we break trend here and make lower lows and make a lower high, then we have a bearish trap. Yeah. So here's the low. Here's the low that they have to beat. Right now, they're kind of bouncing off of the minor support right there. All right. So I'm going to turn the mic off and